the definition. According to the American Federation of Teachers, assessment is defined as the process of collecting information to be used in making educational decisions about students, to give feedback to them, to make judgment regarding curriculum and instructional techniques and methods. Here it means that it is the process by which we collect the information in order to make education decision for a student by giving feedback about how they are performing and also how to give instruction and correct their mistake or problems. And the next definition is as measurement data of data collected on student performance. Here it means that it involves all the explanation which can be framed by any data to be evaluated, and it will show how the student will perform, and we will know the status of the student. Understand the definition?
Yes.
And next we will see with the scope of assessment. The scope of assessment, first we will see with the selection of student. In the selection of student, first whenever means we want to conduct the assessment, first we have to select first which student we want to assess. We finish to select the student, then we can proceed with our assessment. And the second is the feedback of student. Through the assessment, for example, by giving assignment or conducting a test for a particular student, then we can give feedback to the student according to the performance of a particular student. And the third point is the feedback to teacher. It means that the teacher, after her class, she will ask her student for feedback to know how well the is effective, and to see that whether the student is understand or not evaluation. And the fourth is the incentive to learning. Here the incentive, it's mean a thing which motivate or encourage someone to do something. For example, if a student is having interest in drawing, then the teacher who assess the student should motivate and encourage them so that they can do better. And the fifth one is the motivation of learning activities. In this, it means that we can motivate the student to learn by giving them reward for their successful performance, or to give the student the responsibility to do the work. And next is the certification of competency. In this, it means that an individual has the ability necessary to perform the task or to work safely. It's mean that the student can perform his or her own task safely. And the last is the decision for successor. After the assessment and conducting the assessment, after conducting and after the assessment and conducting the assessment, the teacher will be able to analyze and take this decision who will be the successful and who will be who is better in that work. Understand?
Yes.
And next, I will hand over to Wanda Fira. She will continue the next topic. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, next part. Who will continue?
Ma'am, I will continue, ma'am.
Okay.
Since faithfully she already explained about introduction, definition, and scope, my part is regarding the criteria for selection of assessment techniques. So by criteria, we mean that criteria otherwise and means like the standard principles for evaluating or selecting something. Okay, it's like the requirement which is needed for the selection of a proper assessment technique and validity. So there are two types. Okay, there are types. First one is validity and the second one is reliability. So I will explain about the validity, and reliability will be explained by my friend Maya. So validity, when we talk about validity, it's like the quality of being logically and factually sound reasonable. So validity, it means that the assessment technique which is being chosen, it is appropriate and it is regarding that the things which needs to be assessed. For example, if if an assessment needed to be done on hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. I think I talk about validity. Validity, you understood validity? Mm, it is for it is like the quality of being logically. Suppose now if we need to assess the intelligence of a person or maybe the personality of a person, so we will use the tools and techniques which will only assess those kind of things only, like only for the intelligent. It will not assess, for example, the other abstract things like the thought and all that. Okay, they will assess only the intelligence, because in the cognitive field, also in the cognitive thinking of a person, there are many things like the thought, then all different kinds of psychological things, but intelligence is one of it. So suppose now we need to assess intelligence, so the tools and techniques or instruments that we will use is only will be only asked about the intelligence stuff. Okay, so now I will go to the types of validity. So basically there are three types of validity. That is the content validity, and then the content validity, then the criteria validity, and the construct validity. So first I will discuss about the content validity. So in content validity, it is it is usually the extent to which a test measure content and behavioral changes under consideration. It is determined by deciding whether that test measure the behavior that should provide results which are behavior intended to measure. Okay, for example, here I will give one example. A content validity is something which the whole content. Suppose now if we need to assess about the it covers all the areas. For example, if there's an exam for mathematics, so when in mathematics there are many things which comes, the algebra, the trigonometry, the geometry, and all that. Okay, so and and even the statistics also used to come, no? So suppose now a content validity is based, it will not base only in one areas, so all the areas related to that topic. So if it's mathematics, so all needs to be assessed. Okay, suppose now it will not assess only the trigon. Okay, all the things will come from which come under the areas of mathematics, the trigonometry, everything will come together. So like it's based on content, so it covers all the areas, and then how many the examine in two ways. That is there are two types. There is the expert judgment and the statistical analysis. So expert judgment, it means that suppose it will be assessed by the expert of those subjects. Okay, suppose Now, if we talk about the expert judgment, the person who will suppose now a student will have to do a presentation, like we used to do presentation, and if we need to do a presentation on community health nursing. So when we do a presentation on community health nursing, like we will not go and ask from we will not go and ask for correction from OBG ma'am who are master in obstetric and gynecology. We'll go to ma'am Navanita and all who are mastered in community health nursing. Okay, so those are the experts, like the one who are expert on those subjects, on those areas. They will analyze, and then they will see if there is any problems which needs to be or improvement on the content. Okay, so they are the ones who will. So this is known as the expert judgment. Okay, so number 2 is the statistical analysis. Usually, since we know this assessment, these types of assessment, validity is usually used not only for the student purpose but also when used for the research purpose, that is on our samples and all that. So in this the second one is mostly based on that purpose. Statistical analysis means they will check the internal consistency whether it's high or not. Okay, it's usually this content validity is usually mostly good for achievement tests. Okay, it's an like if it's about regarding the intelligence and personality, it's not that useful, but it's not that effective. But for achievement, like for example, like for the exam purpose and all, like because we need to study the whole syllabus and all, so it's good for that purpose, the content validity. So understood about content validity?
Yes.
Yes. Let's move on to the criteria.